Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are nearing week 10 or 9, I believe, in the scout missions, which means we're getting closer to the end of the season, which will bring us closer to the new DLC, Brooklyn. But there's certain things that I've noticed and other YouTubers and other players have noticed about this next season or this expansion that raises a few questions. Now, I'm sure a lot of you enjoyed the first incursion for the Division 2 that came out, but apparently there's another one, and if you look, a lot of people have seen this before they deleted it. Before, it was something listed saying that there's an incursion called Wallops Island. I think this is something that was accidental and the developers didn't want us to know that this was coming, but a lot of us have seen it already and the cat is out the bag. So being that we know that this is more than likely coming, I just wanted to talk a little bit about it and discuss what actually is Wallops Island. And we know that from looking at the Lexington and other things that have been foreshadowed, usually when they have stuff listed, even if there's no information, then it's pretty much almost guaranteed that this is going to be in the game. We don't really know anything about Wallops Island, so I just decided to do a little research myself to figure out what we know so far about the place in general. It's pretty dope because of how mysterious it is, and I wanted to do a little bit of research to figure out exactly what it is and why it's important to the Brooklyn DLC, or just what connection it has with the Division 2 in general. Now, we know that Brooklyn is the new expansion and we're in Washington DC right now, but where is Wallops Island located and what is it? Well, it's located on the coast of Virginia on the Delmarva Peninsula, and here's why it could serve as like a catalyst for narrative direction in Division 2. It has strategic narrative importance. Because while it's not directly en route between Brooklyn and DLC, Wallops Island is located on the coast and offers a strategic setting for like high stakes missions. In-game faction can use Wallops Island's real life association with aerospace technology. Not to necessarily introduce experimental weapons, because I doubt they're going to add any new skills or anything to this expansion. At this point, they're just like biding time and collecting money for the Division 3. In fact, the new skins and all of this stuff that they're adding, I've never seen in so long the developers allowing us to buy so many new things in terms of skins and just collectibles. Speaking of which, if the winners of the Rainbow Six Division 2 crossover event didn't notice, I selected 4 winners because I had 2 attacker codes and 2 defender codes. And I made a community post, and maybe a lot of you didn't see it, because I said, if you see this message, then go to my Discord, go to the giveaways channel so you can claim your code. The winners are Night Ritual 1332 for attacker, Fruz D for defender, Heart's Grace 1205 for attacker, and Serious Samson Not B 2066. So if you guys are looking at this video right now, go to my Discord and go to the giveaway channel and just post to let me know you're here, so I can give you these codes. Otherwise, I'm just going to give them to someone else. I mean, I'm sure it'll be cool to dress up as some Rainbow Six Siege characters. Anyway, back to the video. I mean, let's talk about what Wallops Island is in general, okay? It's basically a real-life NASA facility in Virginia, and it's known for its aerospace research and rocket launches. And you remember on that Liberty Island mission when Keener was trying to launch those rockets into Washington, DC or New York? I forgot exactly where he was going to do that, and we ended up taking him out, supposedly. I mean, there's a lot going on right now with Keener, Theo Parnell. I mean, are all these rogues coming back? Like, what is happening here? I need to go back and do my research on actually the story arc and see where everything is going. But what is the plot connection? So Wallops Island could serve as like a transition zone or a staging ground. A rogue faction could use it as a base to launch attacks or coordinate operations that impact both DC and Brooklyn. So being that it's a NASA facility, it already has strategic defensive measures in place, being what it is in general. And I think it's a good idea to actually introduce something like that aside from whatever the Brooklyn DLC is coming with. It would be nice if the Brooklyn expansion and Wallops Island incursion could introduce new enemies. When I say new enemies, I think that we've been asking for this for a long time. Like, if you look at the legendaries in the Division 2 in general, every legendary is Black Tusk, right? And they've made it very clear that they can make higher level enemies that aren't Black Tusk. Even with the incursion we have right now, those could be like legendary enemies like Paradise Lost. They had these cleaners on crack, and then you have these drones in certain areas where they're super tanky and they deal a lot of damage. There's a lot of creativity that can be added onto the enemies involved with the Division 2 different enemy factions. I think it would be cool to see. And people are tired of playing against Black Tusk. Honestly, I am. It would mix up a lot of things. You don't have to add nothing to the game, really. You can just kind of alter the enemies and have them wearing something different, have their attack patterns be a little bit more aggressive. There's a lot they can do with this. But there's not much that we know about Wallops Island. It's just that I think it would be a great gameplay catalyst that can introduce a new biome or environmental coastal setting, like, you know, aerospace facility to contrast the urban landscapes of DC and Brooklyn. I think Camp White Oak is a really good contrast example, and it can serve as like testing grounds for new mechanics such as defending rocket launches, disabling drones, or countering experimental weapons. It's a nice way to kind of curve the story arc when you're introducing the Brooklyn DLC. And I'm glad that they're doing a Brooklyn DLC because there's a lot in that city that we haven't explored. I mean, Warlords of New York was a great expansion, man, and the missions were awesome. The Brooklyn faction of enemies was cool. So it's going to be interesting to see what Wallops Island has to offer when it comes to the enemies, the biome, all of it. But I just wanted to go over this potentially new area if you didn't know anything about what it is in general, because Wallops Island sounds like something I never heard of before. But the cool thing about the Division franchise is that they always have like real life references, and I think that drives a lot of the appeal to the game. So what do you think about all of this? Did you know about Wallops Island, and what do you think this incursion is going to be about, how it connects with the new DLC coming? Anyways, that'll do it for this one, fam. I'll see you in the next one. Be right out.
Can't get shot again. Is there a medic around here?